Ever find yourself stuck in the same relationship cycle, asking, why do I always fall for the wrong people? The answer lies deep in your own psychology, and today, we're breaking down 7+1 surprising reasons why this keeps happening. Plus, we'll explore famous relationships from movies and pop culture to show how common these patterns are for everyone. By the end of this video, you'll know how to break free from this loophole and start choosing better. The first reason: we're drawn to what feels familiar, even when it's unhealthy. Psychologists call this repetition compulsion. If you grew up witnessing emotional distance, inconsistency, or conflict in relationships, your brain connects that with love. You might unknowingly seek out partners who replicate that dynamic, mistaking it for comfort and care. Remember Ross and Rachel from Friends? Their constant on/off-again relationship was full of unresolved issues, yet they kept coming back to each other because that inconsistency felt familiar. Many of us, like Ross and Rachel, are trapped in this cycle, chasing what feels normal rather than healthy. Reason number 2. The thrill of uncertainty triggers a dopamine rush. Dopamine is the brain's pleasure chemical, and it spikes when we experience unpredictability. When someone's hot and cold with as, showing interest, then pulling away, it creates a chase that our brain interprets as exciting, even though it's emotionally exhausting. Think of Carrie and Mr. Big from Sex and the City. Their relationship was a never-ending emotional seesaw. Big was in, then out, leaving Carrie constantly chasing. That emotional roller coaster kept her hooked because her brain craved the highs of his attention, even though the lows hurt her deeply. Reason number 3. The savior complex. Many of us fall into the trap of thinking we can fix someone who's emotionally unavailable, damaged, or toxic. We convince ourselves that if we just love them enough, we can heal them. But here's the truth: love isn't about fixing someone, it's about mutual growth and support. Trying to be the savior of someone else, you ending up draining yourself. In Twilight, Bella is drawn to Edward's dark and brooding nature. She believes she can be the one to save him from his internal demons. But their love is based on her willingness to sacrifice her own needs to fix him, creating an unbalanced dynamic. This is what happens when we take on the role of the healer in a relationship. Reason number 4. Low self-esteem. If you don't believe you deserve a healthy, loving relationship, you'll settle for partners who treat you poorly. This can lead to a self-sabotaging cycle where you accept less than you deserve because, deep down, you think that's all you're worthy of. For example, Anastasia Steele from 50 Shades of Grey struggles with this. Christian Grey's controlling behavior plays into her self-doubt. She stays in the relationship, often believing she doesn't deserve more, even when it's clear he's manipulating her emotionally. Her self-esteem issues keep her locked in a toxic cycle. Reason number 5. Fear of being alone. Many people would rather stay in a bad relationship than face the discomfort of being single. Society often makes us feel like we need to be in a relationship to be valuable. This fear leads us to settle for people who aren't right for us, just to avoid the perceived shame of being alone. Ted from How I Met Your Mother is a great example. His desperate desire to find the one drives him into one bad relationship after another. His fear of being alone pushes him to settle for less, and he stays in relationships that clearly aren't right for him just to avoid feeling lonely. Reason number 6. Chasing emotionally unavailable people. This often happens because of something called the anxious avoidant trap. If you have an anxious attachment style, you're naturally drawn to avoidant types, people who distance themselves emotionally. This creates a push-pull dynamic that can feel familiar and even comforting, but it's actually deeply painful. For example, in The Great Gatsby, Gatsby is obsessed with Daisy, who is emotionally unavailable. No matter how much he tries, Daisy remains distant, and Gatsby's desperate longing only grows. This is a perfect example of the anxious avoidant trap, where one person's emotional pursuit pushes the other further away. Reason number 7, the allure of the bad boy or bad girl. Many of us are drawn to people who seem rebellious, dangerous, or emotionally unavailable because we mistake their emotional distance or unpredictability for excitement. We romanticize these bad qualities, thinking they make the person more interesting or desirable, but this usually leads to heartbreak. Think about Sandy and Danny from Grease. Sandy is drawn to Danny's rebellious nature, and he's attracted to her innocence. While their romance makes for a great musical, it's rooted in the idea of changing who you are to fit someone else's expectations. Sandy's transformation into a bad girl at the end is a sign that romanticizing the bad boy trope can push people away from their authentic selves. If you made it this far, show us your love with a like and subscribe. I will also want to hear your story down in the comments, connect with each other, and share your thoughts with us or maybe ideas for our next video. Now let's continue with bonus reason: movies and media create unrealistic expectations about love. We've all grown up watching romance movies that glamorize dramatic, intense, and often toxic relationships. These stories can create a skewed perception of what love is supposed to look like. Real love is often calm, stable, and supportive, but the media pushes the idea that love must be dramatic and filled with conflict to be real. Take Romeo and Juliet, the ultimate romantic tragedy. Their love is passionate but impulsive, chaotic, and ultimately fatal. Stories like this teach us that love is about intensity rather than stability, which can lead to us chasing unhealthy, unrealistic relationships. Now that you know the 7+1 reasons why you keep falling for the wrong people, you can break the cycle. It all starts with understanding yourself and recognizing these patterns. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more psychology-based love advice. Comment below your favorite point. Until next time, remember, love starts with learning to love yourself.